Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Internshala Trainings World Education Day Fair 2023. We are glad to have you on board for India's largest online learning event on the International Day of Education. So, in today's session, we would like to welcome Mr. Dinesh Kumar Kotha, the co founder and CEO of ConfirmTkt. So, before starting ConfirmTkt, which is a one stop online destination to get confirmed train tickets and more, Mr. Dinesh was a software development engineer in a company known as O9. He also worked as an application developer in IBM. And all the way back when he was in college, he completed his BTech degree from NIT Jamshedpur. But all of this is just a tip of the iceberg, I'm telling you. Mr. Dinesh is here with us today, and we shall get to know so many insightful things directly from him. Welcome to the session, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ria, and thank you so much, Intenshala, for inviting me. And I hope we'll have the best 60 minutes.
Absolutely, sir. We're really looking forward. And I think our students are really interested to know so much more about the journey that you have, everything about Confirm Ticket, how it started, and how everything happened. So, sir, I'm really excited to hear about your journey. But I think it would make sense for us to start from like the very basics. The interesting question of how you were as a student back you were in school or when you were in college. I think our listeners would love to know a side that they don't really get to see everywhere in your interviews. So what kind of a student were you, sir?
So I come from a small town, Khammam in Telangana. Uh, I mean, like every other student, we had so much fun being in a small town. I remember creating first email ID when I was in my seventh uh, class, and we used to play a lot. I used to dance. Uh, things were good. So we had lots of fun being students. I used to also play a lot of video games at that back then. uh, yeah, I remember. I mean, I was not like the topper in the class all the time, but I used to be in between, like in the top 10 rankers. But it was like most important topics. I used to always love doing mathematics, and till ninth standard, I never used to understand history or science altogether. Only mathematics I was able to understand, but 11th and 12th, I fell in love with science actually. Like I mean, um, then yeah, I mean, I'm very fortunate that the way things happen to me all the time. Like I feel things happen at the right time with me.
Yes, that's really nice to know, sir. Also, I feel that what you just mentioned, that you could not really relate with history, but you had your own favorite subject in maths. So I think a lot of students would resonate with this. Everybody has a certain subject that they feel that they're not really good at, but that should never really stop you from thinking that you can do something in life or make it big. So, moving on, sir, we know that you're a graduate of NIT Jamshedpur, and I'm sure our audience would love to know about your experience there. And also, were you always sure that this is exactly what you wanted to do in life? Did you have that kind of understanding back in college itself?
So in college, I mean, first of all, I would like to say, like, getting there, I feel the best choice I made. So I was spoiled by two choices: either study at the top college in state in
Mm.
Hyderabad, or either go to NID Jamshedpur, right?
Right.
So I called multiple guys. There is only one person, I think, uh, whose son was studying at NIT Jamshedpur when I was in my 12th, and I called him for the same reason. Do you think this is the right choice? And he said, like, just close your eyes and get there, and don't think
Mm.
anything. Like whatever branch you get, you just get into that. So I got electronics there. I was actually wanting to get into computer science, so I got into electronics there, uh, and uh, And I mean, the main reason I'm more fortunate, I feel like people from variety of backgrounds from all the states, you get to experience there. Like, it's I mean, you never get that opportunity every time, right? So the 4 years actually helped me a lot, actually, in shaping what I am today. And uh, yeah, I think I was always a backbencher back then at
Okay.
IBM. So even I don't think any of my teachers remember me, even if I show my face now. So in the electronics class, but I used to have few things. I used to be very passionate at that time. Things like uh, right from the first year, I was just getting into the robotics there, but I got attracted to that, and by the end of final year, I became like a pro in that. We actually won multiple competitions at IIT Kanpur and multiple other places like. Uh, and I used to also dance in college. There's a dance club there, like CDS, and that's at some point I was heading that in final year, and it was good. It was all much fun-filled college, and in final year it was all single placements and all. It was nice. But back then, if you ask me what I want to be, I'm here today. Uh, we were not sure, but I always wanted to um, do something bigger, right? So that was there. Uh, so getting into startups business, this thing that got into me at end of the the final year or so, like got attracted by all these internet companies, Facebook, Google, how they actually
Yes.
came up. The beginning of my career also, first 2 to 3 years, we were very much fascinated by all these companies, and we felt like you just need to build some internet company, and that's how it is there. I mean, that's what the future is, and we have tried multiple ideas, and yeah, I'll tell my story in detail in other questions.
Absolutely, sir. Yes. And I think, sir, you also busted a lot of myths just now when you said that you were a backbencher or that you were also pursuing your hobbies like dancing. So, this is also, again, something people have in the back of their mind, that people sitting in the front benches are always getting A plus grades are the ones who would be able to make it big in life. But I think this is a very good learning, and everybody who's watching us right now should actually take a note of this. Also, sir, a lot of our audience members, they are young people and who are, now right now preparing themselves to enter into their working phase. So I would like to ask on their behalf about your experience working with an organization like IBM, because just like you said, sir, you also looked up to certain organizations. So these students also have in mind that they want to tomorrow go and start a career in organizations like that. So what kind of experience did you have at IBM, and what were the skills that you learned there on your job?
So for me specifically, right, I definitely wanted to get into IT industry, and IBM actually opened doors for me. But it had a short stint there, just for 1 year. But luckily, I got my co-founder there. I met Sripad, who is also a partner at ConfirmTkt, and at IBM, it's a large company. I mean, at any large company, you can't move things much faster. So what I felt is like within a year I started looking out, because I felt I can do much higher things and do much major changes with the potential that I have. So that's when I moved to a startup. I was just 10th employee there. It was a small room. I think a lot of people discouraged me, why are you joining at such company? But I worked there for 4 years. Like, I was 10th employee. Now it's a bigger company, Onin Technologies. Like, they have like more than 1,000 employees in India now. But I was the 10th employee, proud of that. And back in 2011 I joined there. Uh, so more than anything, it's the learnings within 3.5 to 4 years. The amount of learnings that I got there, I think it's tremendous. Like, uh, once we launched Confirm Ticket, like 2014-15 time frame, uh, the entire technology almost like I we can easily build it easily, because with all the exposure that we had, front end, back end, APIs, all the Android app, everything can be built, because you get a lot of confidence, and at the same time you can do lots of stuff, you can move things in a startup. That's the confidence. At the same time, you get a lot of exposure, right? That worked out very well. So one tip I give to everyone is like initial years, like it's better you work at a startup where you get to learn a lot of things.
Yes.
Large company you can move at any point of time, because 1 year at a startup is almost equal to 4 5 years at a large company. I know you want a stable life, but thing is, I mean, you need to take risk. At any point of time, there is always a risk, but definitely you should. It's always, but do what excites you more. If something like working on automobiles excites you, work there. Whatever excites you, try
Yes.
working there. By software, computers, everything. This always excites me, but so that's why I started doing this.
From the points of where you said that do what excites you, we'll come to the big question now, which I've been meaning to ask for a while. How did the idea of Confirm Ticket come to you, sir?
So confirm ticket, actually, me and Sripad, he's from Nizamabad, I'm from Khammam. So going back to the hometown from Bangalore, we always used to take a train or a bus, right? From Bangalore, Hyderabad, in trains, we always used to find it wait list. And in certain trains, we saw a pattern that up to certain wait list, let's say waiting list 60 or 70, it used to get confirmed. So that's when we figured out, like, maybe we see if this works for every other train, but we need huge amount of data, right? So
Yes.
back in 2012, we figured out, like, we need huge data. Once we have the data, we will launch the system. uh, so for around 2 years, we actually, we don't know whether this idea will work out or not, whether people will use it or not, but we wanted to see if this works out or not. So we have waited 2 years collecting data. So you need change historical data to do anything, right? So
Yes.
2 years, 2012 to 14, we waited. We were in our day jobs. In the night, you come back for 1 hour or 2 hours. We used to work on this stuff, and collecting data and saving it, making sure everything is filtered, right? And in 2014, we launched the system. It's simple waiting list prediction system, where you enter a PNR or you search for trains. It tells whether the ticket is confirmed or not. And that pain point, like, what we thought is a small problem, it's like it became viral like anything. Like,
Yes.
the first product which does such amazing stuff. We are lucky that we have chosen such a large market altogether. Like, trains market is
Yes.
so huge. Like, so luckily it turned out like people actually started using it. And then we figured out, like, how do we improve that, how do we get more, give users more tickets to travel. So that's how it all evolved.
And it's so fascinating, sir, because I think on a daily basis we encounter so many problems, but the maximum that we do is talk about it. We would rant about it, but hardly we ever think that we can actually do something so big to overcome a problem that is so big. In India, as you said, the culture of traveling by train is so prevalent that this actually solves such a big problem for people. This is very, very genius, I would say, sir. And now coming to the next question, how did you launch the company? I'm trying to ask, sir, that there would have been some challenges, some things that would have given you a tough time. As you said that you were also at that point of time in your jobs. So what were those
So,
challenges? Things that
I
you
mean,
had?
see, launching any website, it doesn't take much. Like, I mean, you can spin off a website instance on AWS or anything. But thing is, uh, and but launching an organization,
Mhm.
it's a tough thing, where we
Yes.
came out of our day jobs. And Sripad, initially I came out. Sripad moved to US, so he was actually funding initial months, actually. Uh, then we hired quite a few interns from Internshala only. So Shadab was there. He was my junior at college, so he was at Internshala. He helped us a lot, hiring a lot of interns there, and these interns worked remotely for us. And uh, we took our first office space. We took our first office space, and then two summer interns, we called them to the office. It's a co-working space, and then they came to the office. And then we hired our first full-time employee. When we hired full-time employee, he came in the morning. By evening he left because he felt it's a small office. I don't know whether they'll pay us or not. He was not getting confidence, and he called his father, and his father maybe he called him back. So that was the day we were actually unpacking things and unpacking computers and all. So he might have thought he might need to clean the stuff there. So uh, uh, then we interviewed multiple guys. Some of them joined, and that's how it all started. But for every business, you need capital, right? We're fortunate that by the time we left our jobs, we got few angel investors who actually backed us at the beginning, and we had the initial money to actually pay off things. Like for the first 2 years, we were with zero revenue. For any business, actually, you need this thing. But that was the business model. We thought like we need to help users first.
Yes.
Then we'll see how the business works, because if there is value, you can always make money at some point of time. That's the whole idea. uh, that's a scary bet. Like, I don't know if I'll take it again now. But that's an important this thing. Like, uh, yeah, it's a wonderful experience altogether. Like,
It actually sounds very good, sir, to us. Also, now that we know how all of this started, how has the company grown over the years, sir, and how far do you think you've come?
so over the years, it was now almost like, if you look at 2014 to 2023, this year it's almost like 9 years journey, 8 to 9 years journey. And
Yes.
we have few of the guys who are still there, who are beginning. And the last 3 4 years, so we didn't have any attrition at all. Like, people never left the company, because uh, so the so we, right from the scale of few hundred users, right, we are now standing at more than 10 million users using it every month, like a crore users using it every month, right, the app, this thing. And we are the largest, like, in terms of train ticket bookings that we do. So we have a direct partnership with the railways, with which we do train ticket bookings. And we have a large scale now. Uh, and last year we also partnered with Ixigo. So we got merged with them, and it was a good partnership. Uh, and there is Abibus also got into the same group, and we have Ixigo Flights, Confirm Ticket, and Abibus into buses, like all the three brands getting into this thing. And we are up for a bigger picture now. We have
Yes.
very large market share in terms of train ticket bookings currently, and uh, we are scaling faster. In terms of people, we are like, I think we must be the smallest company, like 45 50 people confirm ticket. And in terms of revenue wise, we did like 100 plus crore revenue last year, last financial year, with almost like a 20 crore profit, right? And all this happened with just 1.5 crore capital. And that's the only amount we raised initially, right? If people ask, you need large amounts of money to do anything, but uh, I don't think you need large amounts of money. You just need to have passionate things. Like, for mainly for internet business, it's not that capital heavy business, right? You can make it efficiently. You only need passionate people to work with you to make it big. uh, so that's how it is evolving now.
We just hope, sir, it grows even bigger and bigger. Another
Thank you.
question that comes to my mind, considering that there is so much competition, which is there in every industry, how, sir, have you been able to adapt to these changes and shifts in your industry over these years?
So for us, we always believe that, see, any feature you build, right, there is always this thing like, 3 to 4 years, somebody else will replicate that, right?
Yes.
And you need to keep innovating. With this is with any company, any feature, any good feature. If
Mm.
it's a good feature, that's why everybody else is replicating. That's not
Yes.
an issue. So initially we launched waitlist prediction, and then what we figured out is like not everyone is getting ticket to travel. The same users, like if 100 seats are there, 400 people looking for the same 100 seats, we can't give tickets to everyone with waitlist prediction. So that's where we launched alternative options. What it does is like it tries to break your journey and gives you a ticket to travel. Like Bangalore, Hyderabad, if you search, like it breaks into Bangalore, Hindupur, and Hindupur to Hyderabad. So you get a ticket to travel. You can it will breaks, and we also combine two trains, a train and a bus, sort
Mm.
of. Uh, so overall, and that's feature. And now with getting into train ticket bookings, we have a lot of innovative features what we launched in train ticketing, wherein like uh, you have free cancellation. I mean, the entire booking flow is so seamless, and we have the dedicated call center support, and a lot of options are seamless, and you get refunds much instantly. A lot of things are innovated in this domain, and particularly after we entered, we have become an example of how things has to be done in particular industry. Uh, yeah.
Great, sir. Also, so the next question that I have in mind is like a slight shift. I'm sure our audience would like to know that part as well. So apart from work, how do you think you stay motivated and focused in general in your life, as well as how that impacts your work?
Uh, so basically, see, in terms of work, right, not only me, I think we need to make sure every employee is motivated and everyone is having that focus, right?
Yes.
If you do the same stuff every day, you will never have that this thing. It's not exciting also to do. But luckily, I mean, even if we feel like we don't know what we'll do after 3 months or 4 months, but always there is always something exciting that keeps coming up, right? So there is always a challenge. There are always things that we need to solve for this particular industry, things that keeps, I mean, the work is the most important thing that motivates us. Like if you're not feeling good to come to the office for on Monday, that's not a good sign, right? Then it's, I think it's not the right thing that you're doing. So that's the most important thing. And in terms of personal life, you always keep it happy, right? I mean, you make sure you're surrounded with the best guys. Like at the work, I mean, the people we are working with also, right? We have a good family connections also. We meet over weekends. At the same time, uh, the family. So everybody is evolved. Like when we started, most of them are like bachelors now. Everybody has wife, kids, and all of us meet together during weekends. There are so many things happening.
Mm.
It's all. I mean, also the work keeps motivated. Out of all the things, I feel the work that keeps motivated. At the same time, as the organization grows, uh, we also need to reward the everyone, right? Reward employees, everything, right? So all the employees at ConfirmTkt, they also own stock in ConfirmTkt, like majority. Uh, they have ESOPs in the ConfirmTkt, and they also get rewarded. Like they get the best salaries, they get good rewards, and all of these things keeps motivated, right? And because we are keeping the team very lean, so that the profit per employee is much higher, and making sure we actually reward them and making sure we keep motivated, right? So these guys can perform better. Like whatever can be outsourced, we keep outsourcing. Like the customer support team, around 60 people work out of a different call center, because we definitely want our team, the core team, always to be very lean. So whatever things that can be outsourced, we always outsource that, and keep the team minimal, and making sure we do that. We don't want any distractions because of this.
I think that's really good advice, sir. Also, this was in terms of how one can maintain work-life balance, as you were just mentioning, and also keeping a tap on your hobbies and highlighting how it's very crucial for young professionals to understand all of this. There's one more piece of advice that I think it would be great if you could share with our audience, based on the skills that they need when they're just entering the job market. So, in general, sir, what kind of skills do you think the students should put emphasis on and try to develop in order to succeed in their careers?
See, it depends. I mean, if you're, I can majorly answer if you're into IT industry. In the IT industry, like I mean, I feel like at least one programming language you should definitely have a edge on. Maybe like most important. I feel like Java is much better because that's much better. You can also play around with backend stuff. You can also play around with something on UI like Android. Uh, I'm seeing very good students also these days who, by the time before they come out of college, they build Android apps, they build stuff
Mm.
like that, right? It's a very interesting thing. Like, I mean, you don't need a lot of infra. You just need a laptop to just build out stuff, right? You get a lot of free time
Yes.
in college. Spend half an hour and do whatever thing that excites you, right? Uh, in terms of skill set, you keep improving this thing. uh, and one book I always remember, even now I tell, even I recommend to my cousins or anyone who is just out of college to, actually the way you think also changes if you read this book. Like, there is this book, Programming Interviews Exposed. Okay.
Okay.
Programming Interviews Exposed. So this book has a lot of algorithms or a lot of ways how this thing, I think by the time you finish the book, and if you read it completely, like with your mind, like, I mean, you'll feel different actually. Like, you'll get out of it with a different perspective of the entire programming this thing. uh, that's an important thing. So in terms of other skill set, like, I mean, uh, whatever area you're in, you keep building those skill sets. Like, see, it's not an end thing. Even now, definitely I keep reading on new stuff, right? It does not that there's no end to anything. I mean, initially I
Yes.
was a programmer, a developer, and in the same company I was a developer, then tech lead. Now I'm more into marketing stuff, into more business. So you need to keep evolving. uh,
Yes.
that's where you need to keep learning stuff.
Absolutely right, sir. Also, just like you mentioned, there's no end to learning. So students should actually keep focusing on upskilling themselves every time they have some time on their hands or they have an opportunity. Also, sir, one question. Is there anything that you feel that you would like to advise your 10 years younger self, maybe before Confirm Ticket started?
uh, 10 years younger self, uh, I would have mentioned, like, I mean, maybe more disciplined. But thing is, I don't want to say anything because I don't know. Everything might have got worked out to be in what I am today. Like, even if I
Yes.
am so reckless, or even if I am like doesn't care anything kind of attitude, all of that thing actually helped
It
what I
brings
am
you
today.
here.
Definitely don't want to change. I think. Uh, yeah, I might have wasted much time in since, like, I don't know, I played more games or something. But thing is, that's okay. I mean, that's how I became what I am today. But that's okay. Let me. But I don't get much time now to just do the stuff that I did that time. But that's okay. I think that's, we can't change anything. I would say, like, I mean, you can only connect dots backwards. Like I said, right? Like, maybe everything that we are now today, maybe it's because what we happened at that point of time. So there's no point in actually changing anything. uh, yeah, I wouldn't advise, because if you keep calculating stuff, like, let's say you advise on something like, you invest wisely, you need to know how to save money. But if you do a calculation saying, like, if you quit your job and don't have salary for 5 years, if you do all those calculations, you never would have started a startup, right? So
True.
uh, maybe it's just do stuff, like, I mean, yeah, that's the thing.
Maybe let things happen and see how it all
Yeah,
rolls.
yeah. So that's there. You just wherever you are, just enjoy what you're doing, and that's fine.
Okay. Also, sir, any messages that you would like to share with our audience on life and career in general?
In general, I would always say, like, don't give up, right? If you really want something, you can always get it. Be more patient. I have seen a lot of companies which actually turned out just because the founders gave up, right? So let me tell you our example, right? So 2 years into business, and we ran out of money. We were having like 14 people at that time. We were not having money. We had to let go 7 people, and the remaining seven we said like, okay, you take half salaries for some time. Even we don't have money to pay that half salaries, but we'll see how to make money. But and we hired a new guy to tell us how to make money at that time, and it was a difficult situation. And post that, like things worked out when we started making money by ourselves. Like so I'm saying like there are always tough times, and these things are there, but never give up. If you really want to do something, keep waiting. Like there are certain periods where like 1 years or 2 years you will have down periods wherein like it might not work out, but just stick to that. Just stay where you are. There is always that one single day which will change the entire thing. Like even during COVID we were like very much like we were very tense. Like we called everyone, asked like what's going to happen, and everybody said trains will never get stopped, but actually trains were stopped. Like
Yes.
that's our
Yes.
bread and butter, and we don't know what to do. But luckily 60 days post the trains are started, and we have regained market share like anything. We have almost doubled our bookings in the next 6 months, or we are ahead of all the competitors because we were able to make bigger bets because they were scared like what's going to happen, and we were like uh, we were very much optimistic on the future. So things are positive always in the future. So you just need to have hope. I get I'm very much sad whenever I see things like students getting upset and all these suicides that I see online,
Yes.
kind of like. And life is very important thing in life. I mean, the most important that you get give I mean you get is life, right? Like you never know, in future you might help a person, you might do bigger stuff in life, but uh, you never make that decision today on what's happening today out.
Yes.
uh, they're all minor things in life, like getting failed in an exam, or uh, losing anything. All these things are very minor in life. uh, so you need to just be passionate, or uh, just have hope on future, and move forward, and never give up. That's the most important thing. uh, yeah, there is always, I mean, if and always keep dreaming, right? I always used to have bigger dreams. I mean, even like uh, I, even before starting my company, during our wedding, I told wife like I will quit job and I'll start a company. And certain people actually didn't, even they didn't believe that this guy without money is saying he will start a company. How is it possible? Like it got started,
Right.
and I also after that I used to tell ki I'll buy such a big house or such a big car, and things started coming back. I mean, I'm saying this because I tell this also to have my own confidence, because not only
Yes.
confidence, to make sure achieve also. Because you know this thing, right? When you tell 100 people, and 100 people will come back and question you, where is that house or where is that thing, when where you are always telling about to. So you need to achieve that, right? So you
Right.
keep dreaming bigger things, and you keep achieving that stuff. There's always possible. Like, I mean, you just need to have hope. You need to write down somewhere that you want this thing, and it is definitely going to happen. If you're having a small dream, then that you're always stuck with that. You always have bigger dreams. You always have bigger things to do in life, and you will definitely achieve these things. That's no matter what, but something or the other will help you to achieve that. If you
Right.
really want something, like there is a saying, I don't know in English how to say, but uh, Panchabhutalu, they'll help you out to achieve that if you really want something. There are a lot of magical moments that happened in the confirm ticket journey itself. Like certain points, we don't know what will happen next month, and things turned out like anything. And that's how magical it will be if you just keep believing in stuff.
Those are some really beautiful thoughts, sir, that you've shared with our audience members. Also, there are some questions, sir, from the audience. If you allow, we would just take them up.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. So there's one question, sir, which goes: With the world economy facing issues in the recent years, do you think there's a possibility of railways in India being privatized, and how will it affect the app?
If you look at any other country, right, like Europe or US, like there are always private players in railways, right? So it
Right.
actually improves a lot of things. The infrastructure, it improves a lot of stuff. So it's good that we open up this thing. And it's not that railway is getting privatized, but there is always a chance that new players might come in into operating this stuff. But it's a huge expenditure even from everyone. Even like if you look at a small running a small train itself takes around like 1,000 crores, right? So
Right.
it's a huge expenditure, right? So I mean, there are chances that these things will keep opening up, and a lot of things happen. But definitely, it will happen in future.
Okay. There's one more question, sir. What is the basic necessity to start a startup, and does money play an important role in this?
See, I mean, if you're, let's say, if you look at companies like WhatsApp, Facebook, these all this, if you're starting an internet startup, right? Definitely, you don't need any money. You can sit in your room. If you have a laptop, that's the only thing you need. I mean, you can think like that, right? But if you're looking at something where it needs some expenditure, definitely there is always a lot of money out there. It's not that there is no money. There are so many people who are actually willing to bet big on people, right? Uh, so I mean, you reach out to people if you really need money, but you need to prove them, right, that you have that skills to do that, right? So uh, definitely you can do it. Like there is a lot of, but definitely I mean, in the recent, we feel we are in the right time and the right place. Like government also helped a lot in terms of improving removing all the unnecessary regulations and all. Now it's very good opportunity. Now is the very good time to actually start up, because NASCOM has a lot of this thing. You get incubation space. Lot of incubators are there to get incubated.
Right.
It's a good thing.
Okay. So there's one more, not a question. This is basically a comment that I would like to read out. It's by Mika. She says, "Your idea was a wonderful idea, sir. I'm proud to say I'm a user of Confirm Ticket."
Okay,
So I
thank you
just
so
thought
much.
to read this out. Okay. So with this, sir, we come to the end of this session. It was very, very insightful, very informative session. Thank you so much for taking out the time to talk to us and inspiring us with your amazing, amazing story. Also, I would just like to take a minute here and inform our audience that we are giving away a participation certificate for World Education Day Fair 2023. You can still register on the platform and get your certificate if you haven't till now. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. And
Yep,
thank you,
thank you so
everyone,
much.
for watching us.
Yep,
Thank
thanks,
you, sir.
thanks, thanks. Bye, bye, everyone.